Yes, guys, welcome back to Kosi 90 More. My name is Kosi. In this video, we're going to be discussing the situation, the striker situation around Manchester City. They did confirm that Sergio Aguero will not be playing football with them anymore. One of those great strikers the Premier League has ever seen. For me, he's my best striker in the last 10 years. He's that kind of striker that I've grown up seeing. One of the best. I think Aguero. I'll put him in the calibers of Ramadel Falcao. Although I think Ramadel Falcao's career ended a little bit quite early, but I think he's been in that category, the Robert Lewandowski category, the best of the best when it comes to striking, and over the years he has been the best striker in the Premier League. I think until Pep Guardiola comes, when Pep Guardiola comes to Manchester City, and then he starts putting him on the bench, and then you have Harry Kane getting these, this hype and goals. I think that's when many people have started saying Harry Kane is the best, striker in the league. But before that, it's been Aguero and Aguero all through. So according to Sky, they're saying Sergio Aguero, Manchester City striker, to leave at the end of the season, with club to commission statue for him at the Etihad. And they're saying that Sergio Aguero, who joined Manchester City from Atletico Madrid in 2011, is the club's record goal scorer. The Argentina international had scored 257 goals in 384 appearances for City. He will be honored with a statue at the Etihad alongside Vincent, Kompany, and David Silva. That is where the story is. He is a club legend. Of course, there is no doubt City have done the right thing, getting him a statue. Because if you look at the goals he's scored ever since he joined the club in 2011, and of course the most dramatic scenes when City was actually winning the English Premier League title on the last day. Manchester United had the chance. If City had failed to win that game, United could have gone with the title. But Aguero getting a late winner against QPR, I still remember those scenes, incredible scenes with glorious emotion. So I think he's a player who has offered everything he could to Manchester City, and of course he deserves a statue. The biggest question there is, how do Manchester City replace Sergio Aguero? Of course, we know they are under Pep Guardiola, who can play any style of football without a striker. This season, they actually played without a striker, and that's where many people are actually think, and they'll tell you, Kosi, maybe City do not need a striker. Maybe City do not need that kind of striker. But I think they will, if City are going to, keep that dominance in the Premier League, and of course, get to Europe and do whatever kind of things they want to do and achieve under Pep, they will need to get a striker who can score for them goals consistently. And for me, that has been Kunn Aguero. They've been linked with a couple of names now, ever since that announcement: Erling Haaland, Harry Kane, and of course a couple of other strikers. But I think in this coming summer, the two leading strikers with big money, prices that we are going to see linked with City, United, Chelsea, and a couple of other clubs that can afford them, is going to be Harry Kane and Erling Haaland. And there's going to be a big question there: do they sign Harry Kane? Do they sign Erling Haaland? It's a big question, because if you look at how Manchester City are playing, their style of play and so on, it could be Harry Kane, because I think it fits in their style of play. They just need someone who's going to make the runs. They already have the resources, they already have the manpower that's going to create the chances. So Kane is going to make the runs. He's prolific. He's going to score for you the goals. He knows the English Premier League very well, and of course, this is debatable whether he's proven, in European football, because I don't think he has written himself a statement in Europe as Harry Kane. I think if you talk about Europe, then it is Erling Braut Haaland, because what he has done with Salzburg and what he has done with Borussia Dortmund, the amount of goals he scored, then for me it's quite clear that the better striker in Europe is Erling Haaland. That doesn't mean that doesn't take away anything from Harry Kane. He's a beautiful striker, and in my opinion, if City actually are targeting winning the UEFA Champions League in the next 1 or 2 seasons, I think they should go with Harry Kane. I think there is a way. I just feel Kane is a guarantee. Kane is guaranteed, not one for the future, because Kane is at this level and Erling Haaland wants to reach that level. Kane is a guarantee. His goals are a guarantee unless he dries up. But for me, I'm very impressed with Harry Kane, by the way. He's one of those English players that have consistently done it at that top level. There are not so many. We're looking at players, players like Rossi Barkley, players like Jack Rodwell, players that have come through, and then you feel they're gonna be something big, but then their curve starts diminishing at a very steep rate. But I think Ken has done it, and now he has made himself a guarantee that I'm going to score you the goals. Get me the football. I think that is Harry Kane. And all he needs is a guarantee, because at Spurs there is no guarantee that Kane is going to be a super striker. He's not going to win anything, absolutely nothing, apart from the English Premier League Golden Boot. So he needs that guarantee, whether winning the Premier League or winning Champions League or anything. But I think if he goes to City, they can either win the Premier League. They have been struggling to win the Champions League under Pep, and many people are actually asking if Pep is a success, because he has actually not won the Champions League. He didn't win it at Bayern either. So there's a big question there whether Harry Kane would be the right striker. For all the right reasons, of course, Erling Haaland would be the right striker. You can bring him in at 128 million, like Dortmund are saying, and then you could sell him at almost the same price if you feel he doesn't suit into the system, because he's one for the future, but one also for the present. I think he's a complete package of a striker. I don't know whether he can actually work with the conditions in the Premier League. That remains to be seen, whether he can actually adapt to the Premier League and work from there. But he's a prolific young striker. For me, there is this big debate about Haaland and Mbappe, and the two. It looks like the two are actually the talk of football right now. Who is the better striker? Is it Haaland? Is it Mbappe? I like Mbappe. I look at him as a finished article. I like Haaland as well. But in terms of goal scoring, I just look at Haaland as the next Robert Lewandowski, that guy that's going to score you goals endlessly, season in, season out. You've seen Robert Lewandowski score goals, at that terrific rate. And I think if clubs do not sign Erling Haaland this season, because there's going to be a lot of competition, then Bayern will actually sign him next season. They'll trigger that release clause of 75 million pounds. Like I thought about Kunn, Upamecano. I said if Bayern do not actually get Upamecano this summer, they might actually want to get him next summer, because for them, they have always bought that best player in the German Bundesliga. So it remains to be seen. It remains to be seen who City will actually sign in for Aguero. I just don't. I've just never felt Jesus. I've never felt him as that kind of striker that City should be using. Of course, the reasons that's why Pep likes him are very explicit. He's that kind of player, that kind of striker that has that ability, to shift in and shift out, and of course, he's going to create lots and lots of spaces for other players to score goals. He's more like a false nine, half nine. Yeah, but I still think City will get a striker in the summer, and this could be a very interesting summer with Manchester City. They could let some players go. I think I expect many players to leave, this summer, and I also expect many players to come in, this summer at City. We've not seen so many, so much of transfer dealings in the past transfer windows. They did bring in Ferran Torres and let Leroy Sané go, if I still remember very well. Yeah, they've not done a lot of business. Of course, they did bring in, one of the best performing, defenders in the Premier League right now. That's a tick for them. But they will do business. I think they'll do business and they'll go for a striker. So, just tell me whether you think Aguero is a Premier League legend? Is he among the top 10 legends you would think about in the Premier League, over time? Because then there's a big question where Manchester United has its own legends, City has its own, but automatically I think he is a City legend, one of the top 5 City legends. The only question is he now at the level of Thierry Henry? Is he at the level of those players that you think have done it, the David Beckhams and Michael Owens of this world in the Premier League? Keep it Kosi 90 more. I'll come back with more and more. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash the likes up.